Marcus heard voices in the stairwell. 3 men with guns were forcing a woman down the stairs. His military training kicked in. He could call for help or act now. The woman was scared and crying. Marcus made his choice. He had no idea this moment would change his life forever. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Marcus Torres had seen enough violence in Afghanistan to last 3 lifetimes. Now he just wanted peace. He worked nights as a security guard at an office building downtown, a quiet job that let him be home when his 6-year-old daughter Lily got back from school. The pay was terrible, but it was honest work. After his wife died in a car accident 2 years ago, Marcus had struggled to find his place in the civilian world. His military skills didn't translate well to most jobs, and his PTSD made it hard to be around large groups of people. Tonight felt different though. Marcus was doing his rounds on the 20th floor when he heard voices in the stairwell. Loud, angry voices that made his combat instincts kick in. "Move faster, lady. We don't have all night. Please, I have a daughter. She needs me." Marcus froze. Someone was in trouble. His training told him to call for backup, but his heart told him there wasn't time. Through the stairwell door, he could see 3 men in dark clothes forcing a woman down the stairs. She was wearing an expensive business suit, and even in the dim light, Marcus could see the fear in her eyes. One of the men had a gun pointed at her back. Marcus's military training took over. He had 2 options: follow protocol and call the police, or act now while he had the element of surprise. The woman stumbled and one of the kidnappers grabbed her roughly. That made his decision for him. Marcus opened the stairwell door silently and followed them down, staying in the shadows. His years in special forces had taught him how to move without making a sound. The kidnappers were focused on their victim, confident that the building was empty except for one sleepy security guard who would never leave his desk. They were wrong. When they reached the parking garage, Marcus made his move. He had studied these men for 3 flights of stairs, noting their positions, their weapons, their weaknesses. The first kidnapper went down before he knew what hit him. Marcus struck from behind, using a chokehold that rendered the man unconscious in seconds. The second kidnapper spun around, raising his gun, but Marcus was already moving. Years of combat training kicked in as he disarmed the man with a series of quick, precise movements. The third kidnapper, the one with the gun on the woman, panicked. "Stay back or I'll shoot her." Marcus raised his hands, appearing to surrender. "Easy. Nobody needs to get hurt here. You're just a security guard. You're not supposed to be a hero." "You're right," Marcus said calmly, taking a small step forward. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a dad who doesn't want another child to lose a parent." The kidnapper's attention wavered for just a moment, distracted by Marcus's words. That was all the opening Marcus needed. He dove forward, tackling the gunman and knocking the weapon from his hand. They struggled on the concrete floor of the garage, but Marcus's military training gave him the advantage. Within minutes, all 3 kidnappers were unconscious and zip-tied with plastic restraints Marcus carried on his security belt. The woman was sitting against a concrete pillar, shaking with shock and adrenaline. "Are you hurt?" Marcus asked gently, kneeling beside her. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I thought they were going to kill me." "You're safe now. The police are on their way." Marcus had triggered the silent alarm as soon as the fight was over, knowing that backup would arrive within minutes. The woman looked up at him with gratitude and something else, surprise. "You're not what I expected from a security guard." "Former Army Rangers," Marcus explained simply. "Old habits." "Thank God for old habits," she whispered. When the police arrived, they found 3 unconscious kidnappers and one very grateful CEO. The woman, who introduced herself as Victoria Ashford, CEO of Ashford Technologies, gave a statement praising Marcus's quick thinking and bravery. "This man saved my life," she told the detective. "If he hadn't been here." The detective looked impressed as he took Marcus's statement. "Military background?" "Yes, sir. Served 3 tours in Afghanistan." "It shows. You handled this like a professional." After the police finished their investigation and took the kidnappers away, Victoria approached Marcus as he was preparing to finish his shift. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "No thanks necessary. I was just doing my job." Victoria studied his face. "No, this was far beyond your job description. You risked your life for a stranger." Marcus shrugged. "Like I said, I'm a dad. I couldn't let another child lose their parent if I could prevent it." "You mentioned a daughter?" "Lily. She's 6. She's already lost her mother. I couldn't bear the thought of your daughter losing you too." Victoria's eyes filled with tears again. I have a daughter too. Emma. She's 8. She was waiting for me to come home and read her a bedtime story. Then you better get going, Marcus said with a small smile. Victoria pulled out a business card. Please call me tomorrow. I want to do something to thank you properly. Marcus took the card reluctantly. Really, that's not necessary. It is to me, Victoria said firmly. You gave me my life back tonight. The least I can do is buy you dinner. The next day Marcus almost didn't call. He looked at the expensive business card and thought about the vast difference between his world and Victoria's. She was a CEO who probably made more money in a month than he made in a year. What could they possibly have in common? But something about her genuine gratitude and the way she had talked about her daughter made him pick up the phone. Victoria Ashford's office, a professional voice answered. This is Marcus Torres. Ms. Ashford asked me to call. Oh, Mr. Torres? Ms. Ashford has been waiting for your call. Please hold. Victoria came on the line immediately. Marcus, I was hoping you would call. Are you free for lunch today? They met at a small cafe near Marcus's apartment building. Victoria had insisted on coming to his neighborhood rather than having him come downtown to some expensive restaurant. I wanted to meet on your turf, she explained when he questioned the choice. Over sandwiches and coffee they talked about their daughters, their struggles as single parents, and the challenges of starting over after losing a spouse. How did your wife die? Victoria asked gently. Car accident. Drunk driver ran a red light. She was coming home from her nursing shift at the hospital. Victoria reached across the table and touched his hand. I'm so sorry. What about Emma's father? Victoria's expression darkened. He left when Emma was 2. Said he wasn't ready for the responsibility of fatherhood. I haven't heard from him since. His loss, Marcus said simply. Victoria smiled for the first time since they had started talking about their personal lives. Thank you. Most people assume I drove him away by being too focused on my career. Did you? Victoria considered the question honestly. Maybe. I was working 18-hour days trying to prove myself in a male-dominated industry. But he knew who I was when he married me. He just didn't want to do the work of being a partner and a father. Lily asks about her mom sometimes, Marcus said. I tell her that mommy is watching over us from heaven, but it's hard when she sees other kids with their mothers. Emma does the same thing with fathers. She sees other girls with their dads and asks why hers doesn't love her enough to stay. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, 2 single parents sharing the weight of raising children alone. Can I ask you something? Victoria said. Sure. Last night when you saved me, why didn't you just call for backup? It would have been safer. Marcus was quiet for a moment. In Afghanistan we had a saying, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I couldn't do nothing when I saw you in danger. But you have a daughter to think about. What if something had happened to you? If I had done nothing and you had been killed, how could I look Lily in the eye and tell her that Daddy chose the safe option when someone needed help? What kind of lesson would that teach her about standing up for what's right? Victoria stared at him. You risked your life for your principles. I risked my life because it was the right thing to do. If we don't help each other, what's the point of any of this? After lunch, Victoria insisted on walking Marcus to his apartment building. She looked around the modest neighborhood with interest rather than judgment. It's nice here, she said. Peaceful. It's not much, but it's home. Lily likes the playground across the street. I'd like to meet her sometime if that's okay with you. Marcus hesitated. Victoria, I appreciate everything, but we come from very different worlds. You're a CEO, and I'm a security guard with PTSD and a 6-year-old daughter. I don't want to complicate your life. Victoria stopped walking and turned to face him. Marcus, do you know what I thought about while those men were forcing me down those stairs? What? I thought about Emma. I thought about how she would grow up without a mother just like your Lily grew up without one. I thought about all the things I would never get to teach her, all the moments we would never share. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. You gave me the chance to see my daughter again. You gave me the chance to tuck her in last night and read her that bedtime story. You gave me back my future with her. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, they wouldn't have. Most people would have called for backup and waited for professionals. You acted because you have the courage to do what's right, even when it's dangerous. Marcus didn't know what to say to that. I want to offer you a job, Victoria said suddenly. What kind of job? Head of security for Ashford Technologies. Full benefits, salary triple what you're making now, and flexible hours so you can be there for Lily. Marcus stared at her. Victoria, I can't accept that. I'm not qualified to. You're the most qualified person I know. You have military training, combat experience, and most importantly, you have integrity. You proved last night that you'll put yourself on the line to protect people. This isn't charity, is it? Victoria looked offended. Marcus, I'm offering you a job because you're the best person for it. My current head of security is retiring in 2 weeks, and after last night, I realize I need someone I can trust completely. Marcus thought about his current situation. Working nights, barely making ends meet, never having enough time with Lily. Can I think about it? Of course. But Marcus, this isn't just about the job. I'd like us to be friends. Real friends. Emma needs positive male role models in her life, and Lily could probably use a female influence too. Over the next few weeks, Marcus and Victoria began spending time together with their daughters. Emma and Lily became fast friends despite the 2-year age difference. Marcus was amazed by how normal Victoria was away from her corporate environment. She helped Lily with homework, pushed both girls on the swings at the playground, and even learned to braid hair when Lily asked her to. Miss Victoria, Lily said one evening while they were having dinner at Marcus's apartment, "Are you going to be my new mommy?" Both adults nearly choked on their food. "Lily," Marcus said, embarrassed. "It's okay," Victoria said, smiling at the little girl. "Lily, your daddy and I are friends. Good friends. Is that okay with you?" "I guess," Lily said. But Emma said she wishes you could be her mommy and daddy could be her daddy. Victoria looked at Marcus across the table, and he saw something in her eyes that made his heart skip a beat. "What do you think about that?" Victoria asked him quietly after the girls had gone to play in Lily's room. "I think it's complicated," Marcus said honestly. "Because of our different backgrounds? Because I'm falling in love with you, and I don't know if that's smart for either of us." Victoria reached across the table and took his hand. "I'm falling in love with you too. And you're right, it's terrifying. I come with a lot of baggage. PTSD, nightmares, a daughter who needs stability. I come with a high-pressure job, board meetings, and media attention. Plus a daughter who's been hurt by abandonment." They looked at each other for a long moment. "So what do we do?" Marcus asked. "We take it one day at a time. We be honest with each other and with the girls. And we see where this goes." Marcus accepted the job at Ashford Technologies, and it transformed his life. For the first time since leaving the military, he felt like his skills were being put to good use. He implemented new security protocols, trained the existing staff, and gradually built a department that Victoria could trust completely. The salary allowed him to move to a better apartment and provide Lily with opportunities he had never been able to afford before: music lessons, summer camp, a college savings account. But more than the financial security, Marcus appreciated the respect Victoria showed him. She valued his input, listened to his recommendations, and treated him as an equal partner in keeping her company safe. "The board wants to meet you," Victoria told him 6 months after he started the job. "Why?" "Because our security incidents are down 80% since you took over. They want to know your secret." Marcus laughed. "No secret. Just treating security like it matters instead of like an afterthought." The board meeting went well. The directors were impressed by Marcus's professionalism and his comprehensive security assessments. But afterward, Victoria seemed troubled. "What's wrong?" Marcus asked as they walked back to her office. "Richard Sterling asked me if I was sleeping with you." Marcus stopped walking. "What did you tell him?" "I told him it was none of his business. But Marcus, people are going to talk. About us, about your rapid promotion, about everything. Are you worried about your reputation?" Victoria turned to face him. "I'm worried about yours. You deserve this job based on your qualifications, not because we're dating. I don't want people to think you're getting special treatment. Let them think what they want. I know the truth, you know the truth, and our work speaks for itself." That evening, as they were having dinner at Victoria's house, Emma asked the question they had all been thinking about. "Are you and Mr. Marcus going to get married?" Victoria nearly dropped her fork. "Emma, honey, why would you ask that?" "Because you smile more now. And Lily told me she wants you to be her real mom." Lily nodded enthusiastically. "Can we be a real family?" Marcus and Victoria exchanged looks across the dinner table. They had been dancing around the subject for months, but their daughters were ready to cut to the chase. "Would you like that?" Victoria asked both girls. "For us to be a real family?" "Yes," both girls said in unison. That night, after the girls were asleep, Marcus and Victoria sat on her back porch, talking about the future. "Are we crazy to think this could work?" Victoria asked. "Probably," Marcus said. "But I've done a lot of crazy things in my life, and this is the first one that feels completely right." I love you, Marcus Torres. I love you too, Victoria Ashford. They were married 8 months later in a small ceremony in Victoria's backyard. Emma and Lily served as flower girls, walking down the aisle together in matching dresses. Marcus's military buddies served as groomsmen, while Victoria's assistant and a few close friends stood as bridesmaids. It was exactly the kind of wedding both of them wanted, intimate, meaningful, and focused on family rather than spectacle. During his vows, Marcus said, "Victoria, you saved my life just as much as I saved yours that night. You gave me purpose again, hope again, and a future I never thought I could have." During her vows, Victoria said, "Marcus, you showed me what real courage looks like. Not the corporate kind that's about taking calculated risks, but the human kind that's about doing what's right even when it's hard." 5 years later, Marcus was promoted to Chief Security Officer for all of Ashford Technologies' global operations. The company had expanded internationally, and Marcus's expertise was in high demand. Lily, now 11, was thriving in school and had discovered a talent for martial arts, something Marcus had started teaching her for self-defense that had become a passion. Emma, now 13, was showing an interest in following her mother into business, but with a focus on ethical leadership and corporate responsibility. "Daddy," Lily said one evening as Marcus was tucking her into bed, "I'm glad those bad men tried to hurt Mommy Victoria." Marcus looked startled. "Why would you say that, sweetheart?" "Because if they hadn't, you never would have saved her, and we never would have become a family." Marcus kissed her forehead. "You know what? You're absolutely right. Do you think the bad men knew they were helping us?" Marcus laughed. "I don't think they planned it that way, no. Well, I'm still glad. Even if they were bad, something good came from it." Later that night, Marcus shared the conversation with Victoria as they were getting ready for bed. "She's right, you know," Victoria said. "Something beautiful came from something terrible." "Just like us," Marcus replied. "We both came from pain, you from your divorce, me from losing Sarah. But we found each other." Victoria curled up against his side. "Do you think Sarah would approve? Of us, of this family we've built?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I think Sarah would be happy that Lily has a mother figure who loves her. And I think she would be proud that I found love again instead of staying buried in grief." "I hope so. I never want to replace her memory." "You're not replacing anything. You're adding to our family, not taking away from it." Years later, when reporters asked Victoria about the night that changed her life, she always said the same thing. "Marcus Torres didn't just save me from kidnappers. He saved me from a life that was all work and no heart. He taught me that true strength isn't about corporate power, it's about the courage to protect the people you love." And when those same reporters asked Marcus about his transformation from struggling security guard to successful executive, he always replied, "Victoria Ashford didn't just give me a job. She gave me a purpose. She showed me that my military training could be used to build something positive instead of just fighting against something negative." Their story became legend within Ashford Technologies and beyond. Proof that sometimes the most beautiful love stories begin with the most dangerous moments, and that real heroes are found in the most unexpected places. The kidnapping that was meant to destroy Victoria's life had instead given both of them everything they had ever really wanted: love, family, purpose, and the knowledge that they could face anything together. Sometimes the worst night of your life turns out to be the beginning of the best part of your life. Sometimes the person who saves you ends up being the person you save in return. And sometimes, when you risk everything to do what's right, you discover that everything you ever really needed was waiting for you on the other side of courage.